In this video, we'll be comparing one of the reigning champs for best low-profile mechanical 75% keyboard, the NuPhy Air75, to a challenger, the AZIO Cascade Slim. Before we jump in, I want to mention that neither of these manufacturers sent me these keyboards for the purpose of doing this review. I purchased both of them with my own money. However, I am a NuPhy affiliate, so if you use my link in the description to make any purchases from NuPhy, I will get a commission, which just helps support this channel. So what makes the Air75 so great and so popular with so many people? Well, there's a few things that NuPhy got really right when they made the Air75. Most importantly, the typing feel, the typing experience, and the sound is just very satisfying with the Air75, especially if you're coming from like an Apple Magic keyboard or just using the built-in keyboard on your laptop. 75% keyboards are a great companion to a laptop, especially in a smaller setup because of their compact size. You still get all of those function keys that you need, and the Air75 really delivers on quality of the typing experience. Plus, it's very flexible with the connectivity options. You've got up to 3 connections over Bluetooth 5.0, as well as a 2.4 gigahertz connection, and of course a wired connection. So already, if you don't have the Air75, you can probably see why it is such a popular 75% keyboard. But let's focus in on the Cascade Slim from AZIO now. We'll talk about the specifications, and then we'll get into pros and cons of each of these keyboards, and I'll give you my thoughts on which one is the better buy. The Cascade Slim from AZIO goes for $99 US. It is a 75%, of course, low-profile mechanical keyboard that comes with Gatoron low-profile switches. It is hot swappable, so you can change the switches out. Of course, they have to be low-profile switches. It is compatible with Mac and Windows, and it does have an OS switch available so that you can change between the Mac or the Windows key layouts. The Cascade Slim also offers USB-C wired as well as 3 Bluetooth 5.0 connections, but it does not have a 2.4 gigahertz option. It comes with shine-through ABS keycaps and 4 RGB modes. There are 2 color options available. You are looking at the Cascade Dark, which includes darker color main keycaps as well as a bronze-colored aluminum top plate. There's also the Cascade Light option, which comes with a gray aluminum top plate and lighter-colored keycaps. It does feature 2 position adjustable feet so that you can get 3 total typing angles out of it. Now, the lowest typing position with the Cascade Slim is a little bit more angled than the flattest position on the Air75. I'll put the different typing angles up on the screen so you can see what those are, but there is a little bit of an incline to the Cascade Slim even without the feet up. One thing I find a little bit strange is that AZIO claims on their webpage for this product that the aluminum top plate is interchangeable. It actually says in more than one spot on the page that this aluminum top plate, which is either the bronze or the gray color, is interchangeable. However, I could not locate on their website or on Amazon, which is where I purchased this keyboard, any availability of the top plates available for purchase. So it's a little strange to me that they highlight that feature on their product page on their website, but then I can't seem to find any actual top plates to purchase. The battery is 2,000 milliamp hour, and I could not find any estimates for total runtime over Bluetooth on their webpage for this product. I'm not sure what they actually expect the wireless battery life to be. However, I have used this as my laptop companion keyboard for the last week and a half or so. It easily went several days without being charged and without giving me any indication that the battery was about to die. I wasn't using it all day every day, and I did not have the backlighting on, but it definitely seems like you can go several days without charging if you're not using the RGBs. Let's talk about the design a little bit more because it does differ from some other products on the market. So it's got this trapezoidal design or shape to the actual case and frame, whereas most other keyboards are going to have a pretty straightforward rectangular shape where they don't really have this little bit of slant to the edge, especially in the back. It's most noted on the back of the keyboard. Now, if you compare this to the Air75 has these rounded edges and a bezel that goes around the outside of the main key area, whereas the Cascade Slim, it's not really a bezel, it's really just, the case itself. It's a floating key design where the case does not come up to the sides of the keys at all. I think that the bezel on the Air75 makes it look a little bigger than it really is. If you put these side by side, you'll see that because of this top bezel on the Air 75. This is definitely, it's deeper on your desk by just a little bit. A couple other things to point out, and then just my general impressions here on the Cascade Slim. So as far as typing feel goes, I actually am very pleasantly surprised by the typing feel on this. This has the same switches as my Air 75. They both have Gatoron low profile browns. I know for a fact the Air 75 has brown 2.0 switches in it because I put those in there myself. I am not 100% sure whether these are low profile brown 2.0 or if they're brown 1.0 for a couple of reasons. If you take a look at just a couple of the switches here, you'll see the spacebar actually has a brown switch with a black bottom case of the switch, and most of the other switches on the keyboard have the clear or light colored bottom part of the switch case. Personally, just by looking at them, I don't know if there's a way to tell the difference between the 1.0 and the 2.0. If any of you know, and you can tell me if there's anything that I should be looking at to tell the difference between a 1.0 and a 2.0. While we're on the subject of switches and keycaps, I do like the fact they gave you shine through keycaps. However, I wish they were PBT. At the price point for $100, Personally, I think you should be getting PBT keycaps. The ABS keycaps on this are fine. I don't have any major complaints, but they are going to have some shine to them after some use, which I really don't personally like. I prefer PBT keycaps, which you do get with the Air 75. And one other complaint about the keycaps is these keycaps have the triangular shape here on the inside. Let me give you it might be easier to see on a shift key because they're a little closer together. So here's the keycap from the left shift, and you can see that the connection point for your switch is not parallel to the connection point with your stabilizers. Now compare that to the keycaps for the Air 75, that's this one here, where your connection points here for your stabs, they're all perfectly parallel, and that's going to be the case on a lot of your aftermarket keycaps from a lot of different brands, so it's going to be easy to swap these keycaps out. Those complaints about the keycaps aside, again, I really like the typing feel and sound of the Cascade Slim. I was surprised that I liked it as much as I do, especially with the ABS keycaps, which I'm sort of biased. I don't really like ABS keycaps in general, but it is different. It definitely has a different sound compared to the Air 75. Of course, as I mentioned, there will be a sound comparison test at the end of the video. Now, I've already mentioned a couple of the pros and cons here that I want to mention, but let's now just focus in on pros and cons compared to the Air 75. Let me just start with the typing feel and experience. I still think that I prefer the typing feel, sound, and experience of the Air 75 overall. However, it's going to come down to which feel you personally prefer. And I'd say that's a pretty nice achievement for the Cascade Slim. I don't feel significant wobble. I don't have problems with the sound. So they did a good job of making it hard for me to say that one is better than the other in that department. But I am referring to overall typing experience. There is one specific thing that I do think the Air 75 is just better for whatever reason, and that's the spacebar. The spacebar on the Cascade Slim, to me, does not have a very satisfying sound. I don't know if it's the individual switch that came in this position. I'll change it out at some point to see if it sounds better. Like, this feels cheap to me, whereas the rest of the keyboard typing experience does not. And the Air 75, solid, subdued, not rattly at all. It might be the stabilizer quality here. Now, you may not be able to hear this difference super clearly the way I'm set up right now, but in the sound test, you definitely will be able to tell the difference. Okay, pros and cons for the Cascade Slim. We have 3-device connectivity over Bluetooth. That's always nice to have. For the price, we do have a great typing feel and experience with the exception of that space bar, as I mentioned. The battery life does seem good, although 2,000 milliamp hour is a little bit lower capacity than the Air 75, which has 2,500 milliamp hour. So cons for the Cascade Slim, I've already mentioned some of these, but I will summarize them. So ABS keycaps, which I don't love. The shape of the actual connection points for your keycaps means that you won't be able to buy just any old aftermarket keycaps to swap them out if you want to, so I don't like that. There's only 4 RGB modes, which is pretty limited compared to the Air 75, which has 21 different RGB modes, so pretty limited options there for your RGBs on the Cascade Slim. The Cascade Slim also does not have any remapping capability at all. It is not QMK VIA compatible. There's no proprietary AZIO software that I'm aware of to remap keys, so you would be looking at third-party software if you need to remap any keys or do anything special other than the way it comes out of the box. The NuPhy Air 75 offers NuPhy Console, which is not currently available on Mac, and it's a little bit of a clunky experience, so it's also not perfect, but at least it has some option for you to do your key remapping, add macros, things like that. One other con that could be frustrating for you is, in my experience, over the last week, week and a half, I have found that the Bluetooth connection on the Cascade Slim disconnects from your computer a little bit quicker than you would hope. So what I've experienced is that I'll use the keyboard for a few minutes, I'll turn back to my work computer, do some work, and as little as 10 minutes later, if I turn back to this computer and try to type something again, I have to hit one of the keys a couple times before it reconnects and it's recognized again. I have not had that issue with the Air75 or the K3 Pro. They seem to stay connected on Bluetooth longer. All right, let's talk pros and cons for the Air75 by contrast. The Air75 is more expensive. Instead of $99.99, it's $119.95, so it is a little bit more expensive. Pretty much the same ballpark as far as pricing goes, but it is more expensive than the Cascade Slim. Let's run through the rest of the pros. I have mentioned a bunch of these, but it does have a slightly higher capacity battery, 2500 milliamp hour. It does have a 2.4 gigahertz connection option. The receiver comes in the box with it, so you've got that fourth option. You can connect it to 4 different devices, or if you just don't like to use Bluetooth, you can connect it over 2.4 gigahertz and not really worry about the connection going to sleep like what can happen with Bluetooth. As I mentioned, it does have way more RGB mode options than the Cascade Slim, which only has 4. The Air75 has 21. You've also got the remapping capability with NuPhy Console if you have a Windows machine, because NuPhy Console is not currently available on Mac. The keycaps that it comes with are PBT, and I have never been tempted to switch them out. Maybe just from a color standpoint, once in a while we all get bored, so maybe you'd want to change them out to just change your color scheme or something. But as far as wanting to change them out because I don't like them, I've never thought about that with this. I really like the keycaps. Even though they're not shined through, I still think you get a nice RGB effect, and I just prefer both the feel and the sound. It really doesn't have many cons in my opinion. As I already mentioned about NuPhy Console, I think that's both a pro and a con because right now it's not available on Mac. As far as other cons go, I really just don't love these detachable feet. They only give you one other typing position, whereas the Cascade Slim gives you 2 other typing positions with the adjustable feet. These attach with magnets and they cover up the top rubber feet there, and they give you a second slightly elevated typing angle. But personally, I just don't love that they're detachable. I find stuff like this easy to lose, and then, you know, you're kind of out of luck if you lose one of them. I would prefer the permanently attached adjustable feet for sure. So with all of those things considered, I personally still have to give the title of best 75% low profile mechanical keyboard to the NuPhy Air75. I still prefer the typing feel and experience, and all of those other pro and con factors that I just went through make it a better choice for me, even though it is slightly higher in price than the Cascade Slim. But that does not mean the Cascade Slim is a bad keyboard by any means. It's actually quite a nice low-profile mechanical keyboard for the price. There are just a few things that I think AZIO could improve about the Cascade Slim to make it truly compete for the title of best low-profile mechanical keyboard in a 75% layout. So I hope you found this comparison helpful. Let me know in the comments if it was. Let me know if you have either or both of these keyboards and what you think about both of them as well. If you found the video helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button so YouTube can show it to more people. Don't forget to subscribe to the Semi-Pro Tech and Gear channel if you haven't. And I will leave you now with a sound test. We're going to start with the Cascade Slim and the Air75, but I'm also going to throw in a sound sample of the Logitech MX Mechanical Mini for Mac. Longest keyboard name ever. I'll also throw in a sample of the Keychron K3 Pro. They all have tactile brown switches, so I thought it'd be good to give you a bigger sample comparison as far as the sound goes. Thanks everybody. See you next time.